When I first got involved in CME, I was publishing a journal for primary care physicians in which we were doing some of the basics of CME without my knowing it, like needs assessment and organizing content without using academic professors as writers, but building a program that was based on audience needs and audience responses. And that, as I got more involved in that, I met more people doing CME in medical societies and in medical schools and pharma companies, and I found that they didn't know each other and weren't really in communication. And I thought, well, maybe it's time to bring some of these people together. So I thought I would try it with an invitational meeting of about 46 people from different segments, including the government, pharma, medical societies, medical schools, medical practitioners, just to talk about how do we define CME, what are its elements, where is it going. As a one-day meeting, no speeches, because we wanted people to interact. And we deliberately set it up so that we used a dance card approach. That is, we rotated people among tables, so they had to follow their dance card, so that by the end of the day, of the 46 people, everybody sat for a period of time with everybody else. And so they got to know each other to some extent. At the end of that meeting, table summaries were given, and I said, well, what did you all think? Should we do this again? And there was a lot of enthusiasm for it, except for one chap who was the executive vice president of the American College of Physicians, who said, well, Lou, this is like all the other meetings I've attended. It's a waste of time to do this. And everybody said, sit down, Ed. And he sat down. People said, let's go ahead. And so I set up a steering committee. And the first 3 or 4 meetings were all invitational. But we grew because people kept asking to be invited. So pretty soon we were up to 150 people and more that wanted to come. And I just felt that our company couldn't keep on underwriting this indefinitely. So I proposed to the steering committee that we form an organization with people paying dues, paying to come to meetings, and that's really how the Alliance got started. We called it the Alliance from the beginning after the first meeting, but that's how it originated. And I think that the significance of bringing together people from different aspects of providing CME, funding CME, logistical organization of CME, and learners, because we included practicing physicians, is what has been appealing over the years to many people. And that formula is essentially in this European CME Forum has a similar formula. That is, people are invited and attend from a number of different segments. So that's how the Alliance originated. We had a few people coming then from Europe and Latin America, mostly people that I had worked with. But they found that the Alliance meetings weren't terribly helpful because they were very much US focused and built around, because within a short time after we started, the Accreditation Council for CME in the US was formed, and everybody now had to learn all the new requirements of that council. And so a lot of the alliance meetings were devoted to things like that. So eventually, a lot of time went by, but I kept working internationally. I finally, and we had an international section of the alliance, but we didn't attract very many people. So I finally decided, well, let's see whether we could do something with a global organization, and started GAME, which has not been as successful as the alliance. I mean, we have maybe 100, about the size of this meeting, we maybe have had 150, 160 people, but it hasn't grown a lot. And the current board and the president, Dale Cummerly, have been trying to figure out how to change that around and spur more growth. But it's difficult because you have to find a community of interest. You have to find people that can afford to come to these meetings, pay the travel. Lots of times organizations don't want to pay for someone to travel from the US to Europe or vice versa.